Nano Nanobubbles being very small in size can make it difficult to make the flow of waters. The quality of the bubble mainly depends on the porous material it passes through. Disturbance to the environment or high temperature could cause the bubble to explode, so nanobubbles requires a calm and peaceful environment. The opportunities of nanobubbles can be in agriculture. Water treated with nanobubbles, if used, can improve soil nutrients that can positively impact plant growth. In aquaculture, fish dies at the bottom of the water due to lack of oxygen. Here, nanobubbles can provide the needed oxygen and can increase the lifespan of the fishes. In water treatment, nanobubbles can help clean the water and increase the nutrients. Lastly, the threats. Any cheaper alternative technology or more efficient future technology can be a threat to nanobubbles. Now let's see how nanobubbles are generated. For that, I would like to call my team.
Namaste, I'm Abhishek, and I'm going to be introducing the potential commercial applications of NBs with the methods of NB generation. There are many ways of generation, but we have narrowed it down to four methods. The first one being depressurization, the second one being shear flow, the third one is swirl flow, and the fourth one is the static line meter. During our research, we found out that the swirl flow method of generation produces optimal results during its use. Let us further discuss the swirl flow method of generation. Water or a water plus gas mixture is sent gushing down the vessel in the tangential direction to form a swirl flow inside the vessel. This swirling pattern of flow induces negative pressure along the center line of the vessel, which in turn sucks the air from the top of the vessel. A small note in conclusion, we see that the swirl flow is the best method of producing the NBs. The ideal size of the bubble stability is 500 nanometers to 800 nanometers. Other methods produce bubbles in micrometers, whereas depressurization and swirl flow produce NBs in nanometers. And for the applications of NBs, I'd like to call upon my teammate.
Namaste, my name is Asif, and I'll be discussing with you the applications of nanobubbles. The first application of nanobubbles is in agriculture. A major problem with agriculture today is the extensive use of fertilizers and pesticides. What nanobubbles helps us do is reduce the usage of fertilizers and pesticides. It also helps boost the growth of plants and vegetables, and they also grow healthier. And it also helps in retaining the nutrients and minerals as they bind to these nanobubbles in the soil. Another application in agriculture is in hydroponics, where the plants are grown without the use of soil. And in this, the water could be mixed with ozone nanobubbles, which retain the minerals and provide the required nutrients to the plants. Coming to the second application, which is water treatment. NBs are very effective in water treatment. They bind with the algae and other harmful microbes and other heavy metals in the water and float them to the surface where they could be scrapped off. They also help in maintaining the oxygen level in the water. I'd also like to discuss a real case of arsenic contamination in water. In my country, India, the groundwater in the northeastern states, especially are massively contaminated with arsenic, which leads to an immense death toll, which was also reported by the WHO and major news outlets in India. What happens in this is that the groundwater is contaminated with arsenic. And what we could do to solve this problem is introduce ozone nanobubbles into the groundwater through bore wells or tubes, where the arsenic would bind with the oxygen molecules and form As2O3 compounds, arsenic oxide. And they could float back to the surface where the water could be filtered then and help reduce the arsenic presence in the water and save many lives. And now I'll talk about the third application, which is aquaculture. Now, in aquaculture, the nanobubbles could be introduced into the water, which helps maintain the oxygen level. We know because the fishes use a lot of oxygen, and the oxygen level in the water depletes, which leads to a lot of quick deaths of fishes. And nanobubbles could help maintain that oxygen level. And nanobubbles also binds with the harmful metals present in water and they also bind with the nitrogen and ammonia excreted by the fish and floated back to the surface where it could be cleaned. They help boost the lifespan of these fish and make the water much more healthier. Now to talk about the differences between nanobubble technology and the conventional technology. Whether you consider the root length of the plants, the amount of fertilizers used in the soil, the nutritional benefits provided, the plant height, the amount of yield, the cleaning properties, or even the oxygen level maintenance, we can clearly see that the nanobubble technology is far ahead and gives better results than conventional methods. Now to talk about the business model, I have my colleague.
Hello again. So let us talk about the business model. Getting into the customer segments, we've got agriculturalists, fisheries, students, researchers, and universities. This is how value proposition is going to be like. It boosts the growth of crops and livestock, effective treatment of water and other solutions. It helps retain minerals and other nutrients. The channels which we're going to use are going to be like the social media platforms and the government. Our revenue systems, the income will be generated through the online portal services from the IT department. Allocation of resources for bringing in tailor-made materials, maintenance cost, brand value, etc. Our key activities would be providing cutting-edge technologies in agricultural industries to enhance agriculture yield in a sustainable methodology. Our key resources would be Nukini NMB generators, agricultural plots, engineers, etc. Our key partners would include the government, relative industries. We can partner up with Nukini to sell our products in Japan and Korea, with Nanobubble to sell our products in South Asia, and with River Forest Corporation in America. And we could also partner with universities such as CALS, Seoul National University, and MIT. And our cost structures would include salaries, administrative expenses, advertising, machinery maintenance, and online platform expense. So why does this business model create value? The use of normal water does not produce a better yield compared to the water where nanobubbles are introduced. The use of pesticides would be reduced by using nanobubble technology, hence would reduce the expense of using conventional methods. The soil is more fertile and remains nutrients longer. What activities needed to be performed to create and deliver the offerings to the customer? By helping the farmers and fisheries in setting up the apparatus and making it convenient for them to use it on a daily basis by offering various services. How are the offerings to the customers created? Due to its viability, it could be paired and run with both a solar panel and be coupled with a generator connected to a tractor, which would increase the efficiency of the machines. Who are the main stakeholders of performing the activity? The company focuses on providing its service to a network of profitable businesses. Nukini KTM microbubble generators are also a huge stakeholder in the business. And now to talk about the financial aspect of the presentation, let me call upon my teammate.
Namaste. I am Someshwar and I'll be talking about the financial aspect of the presentation. So we have prepared a projected income statement for the financial year 2022 to 2026. We have prepared this income statement on the basis of a few assumptions. Our first assumption is that we will be purchasing and selling 1,000 units of Nukini industrial nanobubble generators for the financial year 2022. We would like to assume that our purchases and sales of the generators will increase by 50% year on year. Each unit of the generator is assumed to cost $5,000 as we will be purchasing them at wholesale prices. Each unit of the generator is assumed to be sold at $10,000. We are assuming that the service revenue is 4% of the total sales revenue. The gross profit for the financial year 2022 will be around $5 million, and for the financial year 2026, it will be around $25 million. Now I'll be explaining the operating expenses. During our first year, the number of employees would be 50, and we will be increasing our workforce by 50% on a year-on-year basis. Employees will be receiving their salaries on a commission basis, commission being 10% on each sale they make. the administrative expenses would increase by 75% year on year, and the advertisement expenses will also increase by 50% year on year. We are assuming that the tax is 32.5% every year. In India, the tax for corporates is 30% and 2.5% for other miscellaneous taxes. Hence, a net profit would be around 28 to 30% of the total sales revenue. Now, for the concluding remarks, I would like to call upon my teammate.
The world that we live in has pollution in every protein of its DNA. And we collectively, as individuals and as companies, hold responsibility to develop sustainably. And nanobubbles will not only help us better the environment, but also save our planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting indeed. I think we can all congratulate them. Perhaps we can do the little applause sign in the screen if you would like to show your appreciation. Thank you very much. So now we will start a brief judges Q&A. So if any of the judges have questions for the team, please go ahead and ask them now.
May I ask some questions?
Please.
Okay, first of all, I was very surprised by your presentation because you had, even in your preliminary rounds, had the various methods of nanobubble generations compared with each other, which was quite distinguishing compared to other applicants, other competitors. And this was actually very important because it's crucial to evaluate each of the technologies, because only from there you can really evaluate the value proposition properly. How you end up having those value propositions, I do not think it's possible at this stage with only those few hours that you had. It's impossible, but your approach I really admired, and I want to show my respect to that. I want to place a few questions on your plan of revenues and profits, sales projections. So you had an assumptions of selling 1,000 units in 2022. And unit price was mentioned as $10,000 per unit. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We would be purchasing them at 5,000 and selling them at 10,000.
Okay. How did you come up with the unit price of $10,000 per unit? Did you just multiply it by 2, or was there any other logic behind it?
So we actually did a few research. We looked into different websites. We looked into the different models which were available, and at an average, the industrial generators would cost around that price, around $11,000 US, $12,000 US, or even 10,000. So for purchasing, we could purchase it at bulk and keep it at our inventory. So the cost of purchasing would come out to around $5,000 US, and then throughout the year we can sell it at $10,000 US.
See, then another question. Then the $5,000 per unit, is it an assumption made by yourself that it would cost around that based on the final price to consumers that you have searched on the internet?
So we have actually, again, we looked into websites, and the price which they were quoting was around $6,000 US for, I think, 10 to 20 units.
Okay.
So when we would be purchasing 1,000 units at bulk at one time at a go, then I think they would give us a discount. So that is why we came up with $5,000 US.
Understood.